All right, everybody, welcome to Reality's Breakdown with the Heretic Clerics. Tonight, I will be your host, and we will be discussing conspiracy theories. Presiding with us tonight is Sir Chad Paquette of Denver, Matt the Apoplectic Atheist, and myself, the Belligerent Atheist. Don't forget to stick around for the Atheist Light near the end of the show. So, without further ado, we are going to get into our theme of crazy Christian conspiracy theories. So, I have a list of conspiracy theories I kind of want to talk about tonight, and then I am going to read one, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit, move on to the next one. The first one that I have, if you guys are ready, is same-sex marriage is an elaborate scheme concocted by lesbians to entrap men. So let me read again. Same-sex marriage is an elaborate scheme concocted by lesbians to entrap men. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, just the thought of this is crazy to me. Simply, if we want to even boil it down to the lowest common denominator, lesbians to entrap men. That really doesn't make sense to me. Why would a lesbian want to entrap men anyways? I mean, just even from same-sex marriage. I guess I don't quite get that one.
Well, clearly all lesbians hate men. They're man-haters. That's why they want to be with women, right?
Insert sarcasm, of course.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, talk about misogyny, and it's, that's the epitome of misogyny right there. I mean, unfortunately, there are a lot of right-wing extremists / zealots that like to kind of propagate their biblical views onto the world, and as a result, we come up with conspiracies like the one BA just had announced. It's comical, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if they're trying to entrap men for an insurance reason, and I don't know how they're entrapping men using same-sex marriage. I don't know if that is just going back to the patriarchal misogyny that you mentioned about men being attracted to women having sex with other women, or I'm not exactly sure, but it's crazy anyways, so I guess we can move on to the next one. All right. Planned Parenthood is trying to get kids hooked on sex. Now, I can only imagine it's part of the 98% or 97% of all of the other services to include actual sex education, birth control, and some of the other methods that they employ to actually educate individuals rather than just tell them abstinence is the only way. Because we all know that abstinence-led sex education actually works. That's sarcasm, because you can look at the numbers and show that it doesn't. In places that have abstinence-only sex education, teen pregnancy is much higher. So Planned Parenthood is trying to get kids hooked on sex. Does anyone want to touch that before we move on?
Yeah, I don't think Planned Parenthood has to try at all. Once a kid hits 12 to 14 years of age, they're going to be rabid with it anyway.
Yeah, puberty is kind of a huge driving force, for sexual desire. I really don't understand how and this is just one of those, again, just another crazy conspiracy theory that's being thrown out there, but I don't understand how Planned Parenthood would they stand a profit on kids getting hooked on sex because they keep coming back for their service? I mean, is that what they're trying to say, that they're trying to profit from that? Chad, what do you think?
Well, my thoughts are, I mean, just the propagation of ignorance is just profound in this case, because, again, what really befuddles me and kind of leaves me at a loss for words is that the fact that they don't even view facts. You can do breakdown from all the different conglomerate, Planned Parenthoods across America, and take a look at all the different types of services they offer. And to really realize what they're really doing is preventing a lot of childhood and early teen, pregnancies. It's just profound that these people completely disregard facts and put their own creative, quote unquote, spin on it. So this is really near and dear to my heart. So I definitely think we need to present an effective counterbalance to these people when, especially, they're not taking facts into consideration. So.
Right. I knew that you would resonate a little bit more with this one, since you often go to Planned Parenthood and you try to counter some of those arguments, and you try to engage those individuals that are just screaming vulgarities. I mean, as far as this is just a delusion. It's just another delusion we can add to this list. Okay, so next one. Gay men wear special rings for the sole purpose of giving innocent straights HIV. Now this is, this is verbatim. I'm not paraphrasing this. Gay men wear special rings for the sole purpose of giving innocent straights HIV. And I know where this comes from. They say that there's a little sharp object on the ring, and they go to shake your hand, and they give you, the HIV, I'm sure, as these people would say. I'm going to read the rest of them in a crazy Southern accent, but okay. So just the lack of intelligence as far as, and the scientific illiteracy just abounds in this one, as if you could get HIV just from shaking someone's hand, rather than extensive contact, blood to blood, and even still, I mean, it has to be significant. The fact that they're not even mentioning or explaining that the person wearing the ring already has an open sore or has a gash in the middle of their hand, some minor cut like that you wouldn't even get HIV from that. It has to be significant blood contact. So as far as just the scientific illiteracy go, this one is near and dear to my heart, because this is just openly offensive to me. I don't have HIV. It didn't even matter if I did. But the point is that it's intellectually offensive.
Well, this is coming from none other than good old Pat Robertson himself, as Matt had pointed out. Take a look at the source. I mean, that's ultimately, we really need to kind of track down the propagators of such rumors and really take a look at their credibility, their history, and that Pat Robertson is, I don't know too many people, even people who consider themselves to be evangelical Christians, who take him very seriously, if at all. So, Matt?
I just want to say, this one is so far the most believable. I mean, you guys, just think about it. Think of that guy who just bought the AIDS medication and upped the price so much. It's clearly, you know what I mean? Correlation is causation here. You know what I'm saying?
No, completely. I agree with you. I'm just kidding. We're both kidding. But yeah, no, I'm glad you brought up about citing your source, because I will actually be including the link to this article in the description of the video right after the show, so that all the viewers can go back and read it. The next one is, the abortion-mad Chinese eat human fetuses. All right, the abortion-mad Chinese eat human fetuses. I'm taken aback. I really am. I mean, how fucking stupid do you have to be to believe that Chinese people, first abortion mad, then eating human fetuses? How fucking stupid. I mean, I guess it speaks volumes of their demographic that they're putting this shit out to. Because there are some fucking people out there that believe every word that I'm reading from right now on Alternet. It's an alternate.org. 10 weirdest fundamentalist Christian conspiracy theories. And I guess we have to go back and look at the source. These are crazy fundamentalist Christian conspiracy theories, and we know how fucking stupid people like Pat Robertson are, but it takes a special brand of willfully ignorant people to believe some of this shit. The abortion-mad Chinese eat human fetuses? Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, they eat dogs. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, a fetus is pretty close to a dog. So bad.
I got 2 words for you guys. These people believe in 2 talking snakes. Come on. I mean, that in and of itself. I mean, what else are we going to... I mean, they believe in floating zoos built by 600-year-old men, and that the world was propagated twice through incest, of all things. So, I mean, if they're that gullible to believe that, I feel sorry for people like that willfully ignore the overwhelming evidence against everything that's in this list. And I'm looking forward to the next ones.
Hey. Don't you dare talk bad about the Jesus and God's will. It was God's will that the snakes came forward and did all that, and then you put the animals in the ark, and they had 100 years to get there, you dirty bastard. All right, Matt, did you have something you want to say before I moved on?
Yeah, I want to say, I mean, this one, I could kind of see some sort of roots of this, because in China, aren't you limited to only 1 child? And so, I mean, maybe they're assuming that people are getting pregnant, but because they can only have 1 child, that they're aborting the other ones, and then combine that with people who actually do eat placenta. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard of this. So, like, maybe they're onto something here. I mean, this one actually has something you could, like, stand on, but, I mean, I don't know how it gets, I don't know.
Yeah, Mrs. Belligerent Atheist actually had her placenta dried and ground up and put into pills, and she swallowed it in gel capsule form. But yeah, so I mean, you can try to pick out some of those points. I know you're playing devil's advocate here on all these issues, but you can try to pick it out. But I think the key word, the hyphenated word, is abortion mad. So it's not like because of population control, they're forced to get rid of fetuses and babies that are not males so that they can further their own family name. This is actually abortion mad, which kind of insinuates that these Chinese individuals are speaking of, which in this case is the entire fucking country, these people just love abortion. They're just crazy for abortion. That's what the abortion mad thing. That's the part that really gets to me. It's like, yeah, those Chinese, didn't you hear? They just love that goddamn abortion. Meh, 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 meh. I don't know. All right, so
while their wives are performing fellatio during halftime of the football game, and perhaps taking in the entire load, wouldn't that be considered abortion?
Hey, don't you hate on fellatio. Don't hate on fellatio. That is uncool.
That's called sacrificing the unborn. I do it every night.
Yeah, anyways, so we're going to move on to the next one, which is crazed liberals in Illinois want to teach 5-year-olds how to have sex. And I think that stems from the earlier on gender identification and what a boy is and what a girl is, and teaching that kind of stuff. And so teaching gender identity means they want to teach 5-year-olds how to have sex. I think actually they're bringing the 5-year-olds up and they're showing them in person how to do it, because I mean a 5-year-old isn't going to know. You better show them. Phil Robertson, one of the other fucking Robertsons, excuse me, one of the other fucking Robertsons talking about, you got to get him young, you got to get him before the money does, so I can see how someone like him would open up his fucking dirty gob and would just spew this intellectual diarrhea. Crazed liberals in Illinois want to teach 5-year-olds how to have sex. Get off it.
Ultimately, obviously, on the other side of the equation they're basically just teaching children how to identify inappropriate touch, is what they're basically talking about, particular zones of their body were in human contact, because obviously it's such an impressionable age. Anywhere from basically 2 to 5 is, I think, the most profound age and where kids learn the most. So they're basically instructing kids basically good touch, bad touch, and kind of like stranger danger, all in the same realm, where if a kid is touched inappropriately by, heaven forbid, his local pastor or Uncle Jed or whatever, that he's able to kind of identify, hey, I got touched here in the wrong place. So I think, what they're doing is a great service, actually.
I hear you, and I'm going to let you finish, but I think they're just teaching 5-year-olds how to have sex. Is what it is. No, you're right. I mean, between the ages of 2 and 5, synapses fire in the brain more rapidly than in any other point in your life, allowing you to absorb more information. And teaching 5-year-olds, good and bad touch helps, set the stage for how they're supposed to act in society. That some things are okay and some things are not. So I 100% agree with what you're saying. But I mean that. Man, I don't know. Matt, do you have anything to say about? I'm at a loss right now. I think I've used all my motherfuckers and stupids right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just summing up basically what Chad said. I mean, basically, priests are the last people who want children to be able to discern a good touch and a bad touch. So.
Oh, yeah, I agree completely. Okay, so the next one. Burma is the Antichrist and plans to rule America by Sharia law. All right, so Obama is the Antichrist and plans to rule America by Sharia law. I think this also goes back into some of those. Obama is trying to be a dictator of America. Obama is trying to executive order himself into a lifelong emperorship. I mean, it's just again, they see things that they're scared of, and I don't agree with everything the president has to say. No, hands down. Agreeing with everything anyone has to say would be intellectually dishonest for me to admit that, because I don't. Obama is the Antichrist, though, and plans to rule America by Sharia law. Have they seen Sharia law? I don't think these stupid motherfuckers know what Sharia law is. And I think that all the shit that they're spewing off the side about, how they need their religious freedom and how gays can't get married and how they want to oppress others using their religion, that's fucking Sharia law. Like, if they want to institute all that stupid shit just like Sharia law, they need to get their ass over to where Sharia law is and examine it firsthand and see what religion does to society to hold it back. So the fact that they're going off and saying that he plans to rule America by Sharia law is exactly the opposite. They're trying to fucking rule America by Sharia law.
Can these people even, can they even spell Antichrist, let alone define it? So, I mean, take a look at the source. You're hitting the nail right on the head with. And they should actually spend some time over in a country where that Sharia law is actually enacted and take a deep dive into what it really looks like, because it's just the stupid it burns. Matt?
I mean, that's pretty much what Christians want here, but their version of Sharia law, you know what I'm saying? It's like, do you know very many rational thinkers who are for the death penalty? You know what I mean? I feel like that's a kind of a religious crusade type thing, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? If they had their way, our country would look a lot more like Sharia law.
No, exactly, and that's what I was saying, is that they're trying to do. To go back to your point, Chad, what you were saying, I don't know if they can spell Antichrist. I don't even know if they can spell fucking Sharia or law, to be honest. Some of these individuals that are just spewing this intellectual diarrhea, like I mentioned before, and I'll come up with some crazier ways to say that.
They can't spell Antichrist. Didn't you see the link I shared?
No, I didn't, but I bet it's really fun. Oh, Antichrist. Nice. Antichrist.
Dude,
that is
show. It's so funny.
Okay, so we'll go on to the next one. Antichrist. Charles Darwin took it all back the day he died. No, he didn't.
Nothing.
I don't know where.
The truth. His children were there, bedside, while he took his dying breath, and they have written account from his deathbed acknowledging that, and that's proliferated over the internet. So again, for these people to propagate this stuff, it really irks me.
Well, like you said earlier, we can take it back to the source. The people that are just blatantly assuming, they're just accepting Charles Darwin took it all back the day he died, are the same people that think the gay agenda is gay men wearing special rings for the sole purpose of giving innocent straights HIV.
Dude, and even if he did, who the hell gives a shit? It's like, he's not our Lord and Savior. It's not going to change one thing, even if he did. I don't know what they're driving at.
I don't know either. Even if, like you say, Matt, even if he took it all back on his deathbed and he said, you know what, I say I'm wrong, it doesn't change the truth of fucking evolution. Anyone can have random synapses firing in their brain right before death, causing them to hallucinate and say anything and everything under the sun and making all kinds of weird noises, and they might even come out with, I take it all back, or I think, or I didn't mean it. But that doesn't mean that he was any less correct in his research, any less correct in his experiments, and any less intelligent in his venture. He laid the foundation and the groundwork. You know what, found work? I'm fucking sticking to that. I'm taking that. He laid the found work for evolution. And
yeah, he found the laid work for sure.
Yeah, God damn it, he found that laid work. You're right. That found work, laid found work, all that shit. Even if he did take it all back the day he died, it doesn't make evolution any less correct. You can say whatever you want. So, next, J.K. Rowling is trying to lure your children into Satanism with her Harry Potter books. Wait, I think I was supposed to say that with a really deep South accent, wasn't I? I kind of fucked that up. J.K. Rowling is trying to lure your children into Satanism with her Harry Potter books. There's a lot of things about, magic and wizards and witchcraft and dragons and unicorns and how that's satanic. But wait a second. All of that is in the Bible, Every single thing that they're fucking claiming is evil and is satanic is in the Bible. All of it. Magic, in the Bible. Unicorns, in the Bible. Fucking dragons, in the Bible. Witches and wizards being stoned and burned, all in the fucking Bible. If you actually read the book, you'll find that J.K. Rowling's approach to a similar topic is not only more fantastical, but it's actually nicer to read. It's easier to ingest, and it actually has a good underlying story instead of your oppressive, bigoted, homophobic, xenophobic, genocidal book that you're all fucking subscribing to.
Yeah, on that, I mean, I guess I'll do my trope and give a personal story, but when I was an angry atheist, when I first kind of became atheist, I guess I would call it that phase, before that I was really into fantasy, sword and sorcery, like everything, like D&D, like crazy into fantasy, and around that time I realized that all of these fantasy stories stemmed from mythology and stemmed from religions and stemmed from like you said, in the Bible, they talk about dragons and unicorns and magic happening, and I was angry about this, that even religion tainted the thing I loved so much, you know what I mean? So I kind of went away from it and went more towards sci-fi, and I'm, like, thankful for that, but now I like both. Now I've, like, calmed down, you know, but you're absolutely right. Like, all of these things stem from mythology, from religions, from, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. I don't know.
And then they'll try to jump on the bandwagon. Oh, unicorn meant rhinoceros. No, it fucking didn't. They were talking about a horse with a fucking little shell-shaped unicorn horn right on the head. They're talking about one. It probably shot rainbows out of its ass, is what they're probably fucking talking about. Its tears cured cancer. That's the kind of shit that we're talking about in the Bible. We're not talking about all that fucking rhinoceros bullshit. Take your apologetics and get the fuck out of here.
Don't forget the demon-infested pigs. Let's see, the rib women, like we said, the talking snake earlier, and just all the absurdities. It's comical. So my favorite part about this particular conspiracy is seeing how, you guys seen the documentary Jesus Camp?
Yeah, a while ago, but I only remember the kids like totally like freaking out, and it just upset me. But
I think ultimately the scare tactics behind the lady evangelical pastor in this movie, she's like, you know, Harry Potter is of the devil and this and that, and like, oh my goodness. I mean, the parallels between, you know, Harry Potter and like Alan pointed, or BA pointed out earlier, just it's absurd to see how many of the parallels that are happening in there. So
yeah, right.
all of this same thing happened with Dungeons and Dragons, Magic cards, anything that has any sort of demonic imagery involved in it. It just repeats itself, and it's like no kid has ever gone to Satan from Magic cards, or I don't know. It's like it just never happened. So.
I mean, I could seriously digress the conversation and say that they, you know, do the same thing with violent video games, saying that violent video games is causing violence in America and all that stuff. It's just another diversion and delusion that they can use to divert and confuse the populace into believing their fairy tale instead of the more popular one that is actually fucking written better. Okay, so next one. Pro-choicers in Texas were planning to pelt the state Senate with jars of feces. So, pro-choicers in Texas were planning to pelt the state Senate with jars of feces.
I don't even think that's a bad idea, to be honest.
I don't disagree with you. I think that that's actually probably a really good idea.
Do that to any government. I don't know.
You know, I think that open display of, you know, your discourse with what's going on isn't bad. Especially when we're talking about a place that is so fundamentalist that I don't even think Pat Robertson is allowed there. I don't know. I'm making a joke. But, I mean, we're pro-choicers in Texas were planning to pelt the state Senate with jars. They should fucking do that. I think that they should. I think that...
change it from jars to balloons. I mean, you don't want to actually hurt somebody.
No, you're right. The shards of glass could get in people's eye holes, and then they'd be bleeding and shit. No, you're right. It should be balloons of diarrhea. Thank you for the correction.
We could go just straight up, primates here because there's records of monkeys flinging poo. So I mean, we have obviously. Uh,
Yeah, okay. We're in risk of going off on some tangents here, so I'm gonna stop.
All right, before we tangent, I'm going to say we have, evidence of monkeys showing poo. We have records of that. We have records of humans fucking throwing shit. This is a real thing. People throw shit. People throw all kinds of things. I've been in relationships, had knives thrown at me, plates fucking thrown at me, shoes thrown at me. I'm pretty sure I might have been drunk at the time. I'm pretty sure I've had shit thrown at me at some point. So, I don't think that it's necessarily a bad idea, given the I don't know, slinging shit. Is that like slander? I think that's slander. I think by the Constitution you can't slander. So I think technically you can't sling shit by the Constitution.
What happened to the good old flaming bag of poo? I mean, I hate to confess, but I may have done that once in high school.
I'm pretty sure that somehow that might actually be a chargeable offense. It might even be like a felony now. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think you're probably going to get talked to by some law enforcement officials shortly after the show. Now that you've admitted, I don't even think RICO can get you technically, but I don't know. They'll probably still find a way.
Dude, I say anybody who stomps on a flaming bag on their doorstep deserves what they get. I mean, how do you not know what's in that bag?
In their defense, Matt, it was before the days of Al-Qaeda, in which everyone, there were roadside bombs and there were just fucking wanton cars exploding. Yeah, roadside shit bags, roadside flaming bags. I mean, who fucking knew? They were just, oh my god, it's fire, put it out with my...
The birthday cupcake gone awry. So moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Okay, that was fun. But birth control pill turns your uterus into a grave littered with teeny-weeny corpses of fully formed babies. Now, that's some intense imagery, so I want to read that again. I really want you to listen to what I have to say. Birth control pill turns your uterus into a grave littered with teeny-weeny corpses of fully formed babies. This is another one of those fucking things that they're just spewing. All this, they're just creating even more cognitive dissonance in a way so that they can put down women even further and try to prevent women from getting proper health care and to take care of themselves and to try to prevent unwanted children, which I don't think is a bad thing. But again, going back to it, that just the imagery there, and you know that the imagery is on fucking purpose. Like, they use those words because they know teeny weeny corpses inside of your body is going to be visually offensive to your mind's eye, and they're using that as a fear-mongering scare tactic to try to push women away from doing probably what exactly needs to be done. That's their decision. It's a horrible fucking decision to have to make. It's very difficult to make that decision. Leave them the fuck alone!
Hey, so, I actually, this should be a litmus test as to how educated our people are in our country. If anybody actually believes this, it's a clear sign of a failure of our education system. First of all, how would the semen get in there to impregnate the woman and turn her egg into a baby? Is it like freeze-dried or suspended in the pill? Second of all, like what? I think
they're insinuating that the woman is having sex on the birth control, and then because of the intellectual, just, you know what, I'm just going to say how it is. Because they're fucking stupid, they think that birth control pills don't regulate eggs moving out of the body via hormones.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, should be a test for our education system. It should be a question on the SATs.
Right? If you fail this fucking question, we're actually going to put you in a truck. We're going to take that to a boat, and we're going to move you to a fucking island where you and all the other dumb fucks can live there in perfect cognitive dissonance away from the rest of us rationally thinking, reasonable human fucking beings. Chad, do you have anything before we move on to our next segment?
I love how you articulate. My sentiments are in complete unison with where you guys are at on this one. It's just profoundly stupid in action. So.
I just want to warn BA, if we do that, that island is going to form a Sharia law, and they're going to become poop bag terrorists and attack us. So just so you know.
Fuck it. Let them. Because when they get overpopulated, we'll just turn them into abortion-mad people eating human fucking fetuses. Or we could just bomb it. I don't know. We could always do that. If you do a nice, clean hydrogen bomb, it won't completely destroy the island. We can send more people out there afterwards.
Dude, did we just create a conspiracy?
We just created a fucking conspiracy on the Conspiracy Theory Show. Okay, so anyone that feels the way that these theories are, if you have an opinion that aligns with one of these theories, we're going to put you on a fucking island and then bomb it. I want to see how long it takes to get around social media. I'm really curious because that's the next fucking thing. Oh, man. Okay, so now...
I think let's tie onto that in lieu of, killing the stupid people. Let's just take some warning labels off of shit and let the problem sort itself out. For example, let's take "do not eat" off of paint. You know what? You want to eat it? Fucking eat it. Feed it to your dumbass kids as well. We don't need any more of you. We don't need Cletus and Velveeta clogging up the fucking trailer every third fiscal quarter. The time has come where we say enough is enough. Good Lord.
No, that is the problem, though, as the show or the movie Idiocracy has proven. Now that it's become a documentary, the dumb people will always win out. They're I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So now we're going to move on to the current event. So from the Heretic Cleric News Desk, we have our current event for the night, which is, predictably, Christian group predicts the world will be annihilated on Wednesday. Okay, so today is Wednesday, and they said that over a week after the blood moon, doomsday forecasts were proven wrong. E-Bible Fellowship leader Chris McCann says the world will pass away on October 7th. So what they're claiming is that the blood moon on September 27th signaled the beginning of the apocalypse. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've lived through at least a dozen fucking raptures in my life. Now, what if, for say, the rapture already happened and everyone left is just fucked and we're stuck in this horrible fucking cycle until the time. Maybe all the stupid Christians that we have and all the other stupid fundamentalists that we have are actually just left over because God didn't want them. Did they ever fucking think of that? Anyways, so this E-Bible Fellowship, it's an online affiliation headquartered near Philadelphia, based its prediction of an October obliteration on a previous claim that the world would end on 21 May 2011. Guess what? You were fucking wrong. While that claim proved to be false, the organization is confident it has the correct date this time. Right, because the last 17 fucking predictions were even close. No, they're all fucking wrong. The world is going to keep on spinning, and your miserable little fundamentalist lives are going to keep on going until you pass away. And guess what? You're not going to predict that fucking day, so good luck with that. It'll be gone forever, annihilated. This is just, okay, so the article, and you can see the link up at the top of the screen right here. So this article is just saying that the supermoon, the evil magical supermoon, predicted the signaling of the end times, much as, the morning star would predict the apocalypse. And they're using that to say that another fucking world-ending event is going to happen. Guys, you want to weigh in real quick?
Yeah. Do you notice there's obviously, for those of us who have actually read into this a little bit further, most people unfortunately won't take the time to do anything more than like read the headline and repost it because they want to so badly to believe that it's true. But notice there's a loophole in there where this guy who is the pastor of this particular church leaves himself a little wiggle room to kind of weasel his way out of this prediction gone awry, which it more than likely will. So it just it befuddles me how people can actually buy into this stuff. It just really does. Matt?
Yeah. Actually, really enjoy this one conspiracy podcast I listen to, just because it's just fun to like hear all these crazy stuff that people make up. Not really just making fun of them, because I mean I used to buy into some of it, but it's just kind of fun to look into the mind of other people, I guess. But anyways, they have talked about this, and it's tied to the Jewish calendar, something about the Shemitah, which is a cycle, and then on Shemitah days is like a day of like rest or something like that, or forgiveness or something. And so the conspiracy theory stems from this lunar cycle. So this was 4 blood moons that landed on a Shemitah, and that's supposed to signify something. But the catch to it is that the Jewish calendar was built on a lunar model, so it's built around these full moons and these eclipses and these moon cycles. That's why they're landing on these days. And like, I don't know, it's just pretty simple, you know.
No, I agree. And the sad thing is that these things, you know, like you were saying, Chad, is that people are just sharing these without even fucking thinking and without even looking at the headline. And all you're doing is proliferating ignorance. By all means, share shit. Click the link. Fucking share it on Facebook. Share it on Twitter, Instagram, fucking whatever other social media that you're using. Share it all to shit. But make sure that when you share it, you put a disclaimer in there, put in an opinion. Put in, this isn't fucking true. I don't care what you write in there, but when you share something and you don't go back and you redact any of it, or when you don't go back and you explain, when you blindly share something, you're sharing to all your ignorant friends, hey, I think this. And they're like, oh, well, that person's fucking smart. Obviously, it must be fucking true. And then they keep sharing it. And all this shit just goes everywhere. And then in something like the supermoon signaling the apocalypse, there are second and third order effects to sharing something on Facebook. So let's say you share, there will be a fucking apocalypse because of supermoon. Now, I guarantee it, especially if you live someplace in the South. Let me make that fucking clear. I can go out after some of these fucking news articles share and not find water at the grocery store, fucking toilet paper at the grocery store, eggs, milk. People go and buy this shit up because they think it's another fucking rapture. It's another fucking doomsday prophecy. Well, all you're doing is you're fucking everybody. If you share this shit and you don't go back and you at least make a tiny little effort to explain why you're sharing it if you don't agree with it, all you're doing is hurting yourself and everyone around you. And that shit, that bugs the shit out of me. Anyone else have anything before I move on? No. Okay, so our next segment is going to be the wheel. So this segment, what Matt's going to do, he's going to go grab a wheel. The wheel has scriptures on it. Then he's going to spin the wheel in front of the camera. It's going to make some aesthetically pleasing sounds, and then he's going to pull a scripture off of it, read it out loud. We're probably going to share some personal stories, laugh a little bit. I don't know, who fucking knows. But we are going to talk about it. So Matt, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right, spin the wheel.
All right. Hopefully it's an end times prophecy.
B64. B64.
All right. Do you guys ever play bingo? They have all these like weird names for the different combinations. Like, I forget what they are, but it's kind of funny.
Have I ever been to an old folks' home? Well, yes, I have.
All right, are you ready? But if she bear a maid child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks, as in her separation, and she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 66 days. 66 days. I don't know. So if she has a female child, she's considered unclean for 2 weeks, as in her separation. I don't know what the hell. Okay. I don't really follow.
Okay, so what this is, this scripture actually outlines that, you know, post-birth, just to go back and re-paraphrase a little bit. So you, after the woman births a female child, then she is unclean for 2 weeks. Now there's a provision in there that during that 2-week period, she is not to sleep in the bed and dirty the bed with her menstrual fluid. She is not to come into contact with her husband, else she sully him during that time. Else she be punished. I believe it's probably fucking stoning to death, because everything is punishable in the Bible by stoning to death. Next, there is a provision for the husband to take a lover during that period because his wife is unclean. It's fucking in there. And as long as you can rape a woman during that period and take her as your wife, perfectly fucking fine.
We're missing a very important caveat to this as well. It says, then she must wait 66 days to be purified from her bleeding.
Yes,
So,
and that purification was actually performed by a priest also.
Wow.
Yeah, I forgot to say this is Leviticus 12:5. I think
Yeah.
Chad mentioned this.
Hopefully the husband has strong wrists during that 66-day period to take care of business when he needs to. So.
No, you didn't hear me. I said that there's a provision in there that he can take another wife during that period of time because his wife is dirty and unclean.
Ah. So polygamy is okay according to the Bible then?
Yes.
And the same people who are opposing it, how does that make sense?
They're stupid. They're fucking stupid. That's the only thing I have to say. I think all the conspiracy theories that we went over tonight, just the cognitive dissonance and everything that we've covered, just further alludes to the fact that, I mean, if they actually read the book like we have, many of us became atheists because we actually read the Bible. I'm an atheist because I read the Bible. Simply. I actually went back and read the fucking book, and after I read it, I said, you know what? This shit ain't fucking kosher. If there was a benevolent, omnipotent, omniscient God, this shit wouldn't fucking happen. So you go back and you read the book and you find passages like the one in Leviticus, and it, like I said, it's just another way for that book to empower men and to belittle, demean, and oppress women. Just another fucking way for them to do that. And I still am confused on why there are women that are so fundamentalist. I can see someone being progressive, okay? I can see someone being a quote-unquote moderate, and then cherry-picking what they want. And I don't have a problem with those fucking people. I'm not going to know true Scotsman any of the progressives or moderates on selecting some of the things because they're probably not the ones going out and murdering people in the name of fucking God, okay? So I'm not going to cherry-pick that. But if you actually go through and you read the whole fucking thing, and you're still convinced that that is the word of a benevolent, omnipotent, omniscient God, you should probably be checked in somewhere. I'm sorry, Chad. I think you had something to say.
But B.A., you're taking it out of context. Jesus came in the New Covenant, the New Testament, and completely rewrote all the rules. You're taking it out of context.
You're right, I am. And it's not like he even said, I'm not going to change my father's rules, that the existing rules were already in place. He never said that. It's not in any fucking scripture you can find. Go ahead, Google it. You're not going to find it. It doesn't exist. I dare you.
I love it.
Matt, you have anything to say?
I pretty much just had this same exact discussion with a family member on Facebook like a week ago, but yeah, so.
All right, so our weekly scripture was from Leviticus. Thou shalt not be a woman and clean, basically. I think we can kind of boil it down to that. So next, we are going into our Atheist Spotlight. So at the beginning of the show, I said, please stick around to the end of the show where we can do our Atheist Spotlight. So this week, I am spotlighting the non-believer. Okay, the non-believer is a newer YouTuber, up and coming in the last few weeks. He has a few videos, and the latest video, Flat Earther gets KO'd by militant atheist. I watched it today. I laughed hysterically. Okay, so this guy has a website. And I'll give you that website here in just a second. But what he does is he does YouTube videos just like some of us. Response to Amazing Atheist, Ahmed Muhammad's story. He goes back and he does response videos. This is his biggest thing. But he doesn't just do regular response videos. He does response videos, like in the new one, with a skit. So he has a little bit of entertainment value that he brings in there. I'm not going to spoil any of the awesome parts of that video because there are some really fucking hilarious parts. But the non-believer, you need to check this guy out. He's a Floridian. Stoller is his last name. So I think it's David Stoller. You need to go check this guy out. He's my atheist spotlight for the week. And the website, his website is freefrombelief.com. So head over to freefrombelief.com, the website he started. Go check out The Non-Believer. And they're awesome because he's funny, he's vulgar, he doesn't hold anything back, he tells you exactly what he feels. This guy is just, he's on point with some of his stuff. Even if you don't agree with everything he has to say, go check him out, subscribe, like, comment on his videos. He loves criticism, he loves to argue. So go on there and throw some comments on his videos. Guys, have you seen this guy before?
I have not seen him yet. I'm glad you pointed him out. It'd be interesting. I'm looking forward to checking out some of his work, and perhaps we might, if he's really good, we can entice him to come on the show and plug his efforts.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to highlight this guy because we've all been up-and-comers. I think technically we're still up-and-comers. I'm not sure. But anyways, so this guy, the Flat Earth video that he did that I saw today in the last few days, he put it out like a week or two ago. It's just fucking amazing. It's nothing short. It's slapstick. It has some stuff going on. You know, he goes back and he makes fun of people. It's just, you know, apropos, completely perfect to what we've talked about and to our message. Matt, do you have anything?
Then for somebody like preaching to the choir, so to speak, where would somebody who's maybe sitting on the fence, a moderate Christian, if there is such a thing, would they be instantly turned off by his language because we've been programmed, you know, anytime somebody drops the word fuck or something like that, you know, like the Amazing Atheist or some of those other guys that are more proliferation online, they tend to turn a lot of people off quickly. So would this be something we could perhaps send to somebody who's maybe sitting on the fence?
Well, if they're offended by it, fuck it. No, I'm just kidding. So, as we've talked before in previous shows, like 2 weeks ago, I think, Chad, you and I had this discussion as well as Matt. So, like we've said before, not only does it take all different types of public speakers to get a message across to a mass, but in the masses, there are a bunch of people that not only learn a certain way, but react a certain way. I myself like someone that speaks directly. I like someone that's not afraid to speak their mind, and if that includes vulgar language, great. But I love passion, and that's what I love. So someone like the Non-Believer is great to me. And I don't think it's preaching from the choir. What I think it is increasing the footprint. I've said this on multiple occasions. Making videos about topics that other people are making videos about, when you put your own spin on it and you make it your own, is doing nothing but increasing the footprint of our movement. The atheist community and the atheist movement is getting bigger, and the more of us that step up and make videos, the more of us that talk to each other, it just happens. So, would I recommend this to someone sitting on the fence? Why not? Because someone might have that reaction to that video that they might not have to my videos. They might have a reaction to that video that they might not have to Christy Winters. Although I don't know why, because Dr. Winters is fucking amazing, and she makes you want to listen to her just by speaking. But, I mean, everyone reacts differently to every video. So to say, would I or would I not recommend this to anyone at any time, I would recommend it. Would I recommend it to a small child? Probably not. It does have explicit language in it. So I might not recommend it to a very young demographic. But would I recommend it to any adult? Yes. Because everyone reacts differently. I don't think we should censor anything or recommend or not recommend based on, but you know the person you're talking to, hopefully. Maybe you don't. But even if you don't, recommend it. If you know the person, you know that they wouldn't like that video, don't recommend the fucking video. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Past experience, real quick, past experience, I remember watching George Carlin while I was still a believer, and it created so much cognitive dissonance, and I had to kind of turn it off for fear that like God would be pissed off at me for watching it. So coming from that perspective, I can kind of relate to somebody who may be perhaps sitting on the fence a little bit, and you know how certain language and whatnot, it's not used in church, so you know better not listen to this. It's Satan talking to me or something. You know, you're just programmed with all this nonsense. So I mean, ultimately to relieve yourself of those shackles is huge, but it's kind of funny reflecting back now, and I actually find Carlin hilarious. He's articulate. He drives home such strong points that I'm like, wow, I can't believe I didn't quote unquote get this earlier. Matt, you got anything on that?
No, I mean I get what I had the same thing that I felt like worried that God would be mad at me or something for a while when I was a lot younger. But hey, you know what the weirdest thing is on that note? It's kind of on that note, but kind of not. Like there's that somebody's watching all the time. It's just kind of creepy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, this is gonna get kind of weird. But when I was having like a little boy time in the shower, you know, I'd be like freaked out, like, oh my God, someone's watching. Then I'd be like, whatever, let them watch. You know, I don't know. You know, it's all right. So that's what I got.
If you rub one off underneath the sheets, God can't see you. Just so you know.
Oh, okay.
No, I thought he was allergic to iron, not like
Oh yeah.
blended fabrics.
All right, I don't know anymore. All right, you guys are having me make me question everything about my life.
No, but Chad, I knew that you watched George Carlin because you said peel the warning labels off and let it sort itself out, and I know that's a very George Carlin thing. So I appreciated that. It was a good tribute over. But as far as deconversion goes, deconversion is like, okay, deconversion is very similar yet completely different from like being bi-curious. So you kind of test the water, you kind of see, you're curious as to what it's like, but you kind of go in a little bit and you come back, and you go in a little bit and you come back, and you go in a little bit more and you come back. You know, it's testing the water. So, I mean, people are going to come over to watch some videos. Maybe they'll find a genre that they like. Maybe they'll find a genre that they definitely don't like. But deconversion is a long process where you continually test the water and where the water becomes warmer and warmer to you because of change of temperature. And that's really all that it is. It is a shock in the beginning. If you jump right in, you're going to jump the fuck out because the water's cold. But if you stay in there and you get acclimated and you feel out the pool and you feel out everything, and that's exactly what deconversion is. Deconversion is, you continuously test that water because it's a journey. It's not an overnight thing for most people. For some people, yes, that is. They're just like, you know what? Fuck that. And they don't believe it anymore. And, kudos to them because everyone's different.
So perfect timing to your point there, BA. I think that people who are perhaps sitting on the fence might be more inclined to listen to a little bit more of like a Richard Dawkins or Sam Harris because they don't necessarily belittle the religious directly, whereas you get into like a Jim Jeffries, George Carlin, even a Christopher Hitchens, just basically equivalent of intellectual bitch slap of these people, and it takes, like you said, it takes all types. But I think for those who are kind of wanting to like dip their toe in the pool, like you had an analogy of the bi-curious thing, like a little girl dipping her toe in the pool. Is it cold? I don't know. Can I tell? Is this one cold? I think it might be a little bit easier to palate for some people to kind of take the slower route, like you're saying, just kind of dipping the toe in the pool. And so appreciate the
input. Of course, and I agree with you to a point, and let me explain. So to go back to what I say, it would be painting with a broad brush is never effective. So that's why I said it worked for some people and not others. So we go back to, like, for instance, the foxhole atheist. He is one of our atheist spotlight, just like the non-believer, which is tonight's spotlight. And myself, we are more vulgar, we are more upfront, and we're more passionate. But there's something between Foxhole and I that links us together. We're both combat veterans. So I have a better appreciation for the straight language, the directness, the passion, the emotion. So for someone like myself, maybe there are many military members that would feel the same way, many other foxhole atheists that feel the same way. That sort of directness where you're not speaking around a subject, you cut right through, that appeals much more to me, not as an atheist, but appeals to me as a person who has undergone military conditioning. So I think that it does take all types of people to convert or to explain or to enlighten all types of people.
On that note, I didn't want to say this before. Didn't you feature him before as a spotlight, or you brought him up before, right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He was a previous spotlight, the foxhole atheist.
Yeah, I mean, just because it's on this topic, I did come across him before, and I have to be honest, I wasn't really into his style, which I do love directness, but I felt like I think there's a point where it becomes like that's your gimmick, and I feel like, I don't know, it just, I don't really like those kind of gimmicks, I guess. Which, I mean, I didn't delve into him like too greatly. I just kind of skimmed over some of his videos, and I just got that impression. But hearing the way you describe it can make me understand more of where you're coming from and why people would like him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he has three major avenues that he comes across on. And one of them, he does a little bit more calmer in videos where he talks through things. He has his Secular TV. He's a co-founder and CEO of Secular TV, so he does that. And he has Dr. Winters on there, which is your more calm, soft-spoken, cerebral, kind of that person that can bring the information to you in a way that you'll understand. And you want to listen. It's that charisma that she brings. And then he has the YASP, the yelling at stupid people. So he has one series where he does a little bit more of the calmer side of things, and then he has one distinct series where he can vent out his frustrations, and they're generally response videos where someone's up on the left-hand side and he points out their bigotry and hatred and oppression, and he's yelling at them and he's cursing at them, and he gets out that anger, he gets out that frustration while he's talking. So he has both, and I can see what you're saying about it becoming gimmicky. It's very like Amazing Atheist. You know, you get into that frustrated sound, you get into that kind of that cult of Dusty character kind of thing, where you kind of start to paint yourself into a corner. I could see that happening, but I mean, he does the multitudes, and he has a smorgasbord of content, so he's not trying to limit himself. But I see it more of a way of just working out that frustration and aggression, rather just like the non-believer. This is an outlet rather than an educational tool, and I think that there are many people out there that resonate with that content.
I think a person who does that exceptionally well would be like a Pat Condell. I don't know if you've ever seen or heard of him, but his little short videos are palatable. They're succinct. They're to the point. They're typically 5 minutes or less. But one other thing I wanted to tie into this discussion is that unfortunately we've all been conditioned to judge based on appearance and/or vocal tonality, etc. And whoops, sorry about that. With that said, I think it's imperative that we really give some consideration to aesthetic appearance and whatnot, how we project ourselves. If someone, for example, like Arn Raw, he is exceptionally brilliant. I love how he delivers his message in a radio format, but he has a face for radio because of how he looks. Most people are going to look at a guy like him and instantly judge and say, you know what, he's not resonating with me because he doesn't look like he comes from the same socioeconomic class, or he's not the type of guy that I really want to sit down and have a beer with. But it unfortunately takes becoming an atheist to really kind of break down a lot of those barriers that prevent us from really hearing and really giving a solid opportunity to somebody to hear them out on what they're presenting. Would you guys want to chime in on that?
I hear what you're saying. I think it's still kind of fucked up to say he has a face for radio, though. I'm just saying. I know what you're talking about with aesthetics, but that's still kind of fucked up. I think he's a very handsome gentleman, and he's very smart, and Chad's an asshole.
I think he looks like one of the Huns, like Attila the Hun or something.
Yeah, Attila the Hun was very powerful military leader, so I think that's great. No, I do see what you're saying, though, about appearances and aesthetics. Matt, I'm sorry, did you have something?
Well, I like this topic because I feel like I see both sides of this, because in my everyday life as a welder and construction worker and stuff, and I'm always, like, what I'm wearing now, I never get a chance to wear stuff like this. Usually I'm in my work clothes and I'm just, like, covered in dirt and, like, I don't know. I have a job interview tomorrow, actually, so I kind of made an effort to clean myself up today, so I kind of wanted to wear... I mean, I consider this dressing up. It's as bad as it sounds. So, anyways, I mean, I see both sides of it. Depending on how I dress, people completely act like completely different to me. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of cool to be able to see both sides of that, and I totally see what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all, and I do believe that we are very shallow. The first 15 seconds of any encounter, you've already judged and have a formulated opinion about any individual. So I do agree with that, and I see how jumping into someone's video. If you go to Foxhole's Yasp video, you're like, this is a crazy motherfucker. I think I'm gonna wait a little bit before I go listen to him. Now I get that, but I mean, we all have our place, and Matt, those sexy overalls or coveralls, whatever you're wearing, I dig it. I think it's good. I like what you did with the hair, by the way, the lack of hair. You're starting to fit in with Chad and myself. Bald people. Yeah, there you go. Rock it, Chad. All right, so I don't think we have anything else really. Did you guys have anything? North, south, east, west?
I just want to say, you guys, this isn't new. I usually shave my head. You guys think I'm copying you or something. I just always wear a hat, so nobody really knows. So, all right, I'm not.
You look like the bad guy. His name was Bull in the movie Over the Top. That's what you kind of remind me of right now.
Oh, I didn't see it. I think I heard about that. Doesn't that have like Stallone or something in it?
Sylvester Stallone, the arm wrestling movie. You look like the champion guy he goes up against.
Yeah, he kind of does. He kind of does. I'm not saying you're copying us. I say you're moving to the dark side. Is what I'm saying.
Do a quick
I have
share.
a proven track record. All right, I will prove it.
All right, Chad, what'd you say?
You should do a quick screen share. Pull that guy up. Bull from Over the Top. There we go. Pull up a Google image.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
Search to him, and then there we go. Oh, there's quite a few pictures of this guy. Here we go, Matt. I don't know if I can share the screen on mine, but this is perfect for you, man.
Dude, that is me. That's my brother, dude.
Okay, can you spell the name?
Hold on. I got it. Hold on.
B-U-L-L, like bull.
Oh, Bull. Sorry, you weren't coming
Bull
across.
from Over the Top, and just Google Images will pull it up.
Holy shit.
Do the one with the hat. Do the one with the hat, like I got.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'm the one that has the controls right now, so that's why.
No, he's wearing aviators, dude. I hate anybody who wears aviators.
Look at that picture. Yep, right there. Boom.
A little bigger. Boom. Apoplectic atheist. Right fucking there. Check that shit out.
We found your avatar, Matt. There's your new avatar, dude.
There you
All right,
go.
that's my new avatar. You guys are saying I look like Joshua Feuerstein the last week. Now I look like yeah.
Well, you trimmed up the middle a little bit and you brought it in. You know, you cleaned it up a little bit. So
All
you
right,
look
that
like
does
Bull.
look like me. I'm making that my.
That's your new profile picture. So
Yeah, that's in your pop picture.
thanks, guys.
All right, so tonight we talked to. What? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I really appreciate the show. It was highly entertaining tonight. So go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna make closing comments. So we went back, we talked about conspiracy theories tonight. We highlighted 10 conspiracy theories, and then our current event was the apocalypse blood moon scenario. I highlighted the non-believer, and we had our weekly scripture, which was from Leviticus about women's menstruation and about birth, about how they're unclean. So tonight, again, conspiracy theories. I really appreciate everyone coming out tonight. We had some viewers. I appreciate you showing up. I love to see you guys there. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please shoot them to hereticlerics@gmail.com or thebelligerantatheist@gmail.com. We'll definitely take them into consideration. We love you guys' feedback. We love you in the live chat. So I just want to say to everyone tonight, thank you again for coming by tonight, and from all of us, deuces.